So you want to get into Mini Z racing and you have no idea where to start. Well, in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to get into Mini Z racing, what I recommend, and a great starting setup for the traditional Mini Z track. What is up, guys? My name is Mark Santamaria. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the RC vlog. Guys, today we are going Mini Z shopping for the beginner. So you have a new local Mini Z track, you walk in there, you want to get into it, have no clue what to get. I'm going to walk you through it. If you don't want to sit through this entire video to find out what you need to buy, I'll make it easy. You want a rear-wheel drive KYOSHO Mini Z wide MM. That's the configuration you want. Pick the body you like. It's as easy as that. So before we begin, there are a few Mini Zs that we're not going to talk about in this video. One is this guy right here. This is the Mini Z 4x4. It's exactly what it looks like. It's a mini crawler Mini Z. We're not going to talk about that because it's not racing related. Also, one that's not in this case are the Mini Z buggies. I guess that is racing, but it's off-road style racing. It's not on-road style racing. And then we're just gonna slightly touch on the all-wheel drive Mini Zs. The majority of the all-wheel drive Mini Zs come as a drift platform. They come with really slick tires, essentially plastic tires, and they are a lot of fun. But if you put rubber tires on them, you can take them around the track. They're a lot of fun. I have these as our rentals. They're super easy cars to drive, especially in 50% mode. The reoccurring theme in this video is if you like what it looks like, if you like the body, you think it looks cool, just freaking get it because it's going to be a blast. We're also going to quickly go over these. This is the My First Mini Z line. Essentially, these are RC cars and they run about 50 bucks, but they're toy grade. And what I mean by that, like the steering isn't linear. Essentially, if you turn right, it's all the way right. If you turn left, it's all the way left. They're super slow. It's essentially like a Walmart grade RC car with a Mini Z body. Now I say a Mini Z body because you totally can take this body off and put it on a high-end Mini Z or an actual Mini Z and race it with these bodies. And the crazy part is the bodies are $50 separately. So if you pick one of these up for the body, you're not out any money because these are $50 too. Or the way you can look at it is you're buying a body and you're getting a free toy grade base with it. We're not going to touch up on these very much because that's really all it is. If you like the body, pick it up, but it's not meant to race on the track. It's meant for kids to just kind of drive around in your house, but they do have some cool bodies. Imagine racing with that guy. That'd be pretty sick. Or the Speed Racer car. Oh man, that would be so cool. So all of the Mini Z boxes has this sticker right here, and this actually tells you the configuration of the Mini Z inside the box. This one is wide MM. It's that guy right there. That's actually the configuration I recommend. So how you read it is this white one is what it is. It's wide. So there's two different options, wide and narrow. And then you have an RM, MM, LM, and HM. The RM stands for rear motor. The MM stands for mid motor. The LM actually stands for low motor, but people refer to LM as the Le Mans series. And the HM stands for high motor. I don't think I've ever seen, if I have seen HM, I don't remember which one it was. I don't carry any HMs, but the most common one is the wide MM. That is the 98mm chassis. That's the standard 28 scale racer, and that's actually why I recommend it. Not only is it the most universal Mini Z to drive on the track, it also comes with a variety of amazing racing bodies. My goodness, there's so much glare, sorry guys, but we have a whole bunch of them and they look so freaking cool. So if you're gonna go grab one, grab a rear wheel drive wide MM. The second most popular configuration are the LMs. This is the wide LM, also known as low motor, also known as Le Mans. As you can tell, they all have the same style body. It looks like a wedge. It looks like an actual Le Mans car. A lot of the guys, whenever they get into racing, they get more serious into it. They step up to an LM car. It has a longer wheelbase. It drives a little bit different than the wide MM car, but it's a good way to run another class. Mini Zs aren't very expensive at all. They're about $190. And if you want to go racing, you want to race two different cars, the best way to go is to get the wide MM and then an LM car, and you'll have a whole bunch of fun. Now, one important thing to note with the LMs is they have different tires. The tires are completely different. They're a little bit thicker, so the sidewall is a little bit thicker. So make sure you keep that in mind whenever you do get a second car, that if you like to keep an assortment of tires, you're gonna have to keep a second kind of assortment of tires for the LM Mini Zs. And that right there is what the sticker looks like, wide LM. So another configuration that isn't as popular, however, I just got done doing a review on it and it's absolutely amazing, is the narrow RM, which is the narrow rear motor. That is this guy right here. Look at how good that looks. They look really, really scale. And after me doing testing, they handle surprisingly well, especially on small, tight tracks. But here are the different narrow RM Mini Zs. Now, these down here are the actual ready set kits, meaning it comes with everything you need except for batteries. When you see boxes like this is not a ready set kit. This is just the body. It will say auto scale collection on there. So a lot of times when you go into your hobby shop and they have a whole bunch of Mini Zs, you'll see a whole bunch of cool bodies. Those are just bodies. These are the actual ready to run or ready set kits. If you like these bodies and you don't like the RTR bodies or the ready set bodies, you can buy an actual chassis. It's just the chassis, and then you can change up the chassis to mount the body you want. The cool thing about the bodies is they do come with the wheels, so you don't even need wheels. All you need to do is buy that, and it comes with the wheels and body. It's already all painted, and they look so cool. But going back to the rear-wheel drive narrow RMs, extremely underrated. I have so much fun with mine. It's actually probably my favorite Mini Z at the moment, because I think it's gonna be so cool to see a car that looks like you can buy it right off the lot, race against a whole bunch of LMs and GT cars. Now, another important thing to note is the type of Mini Z you're getting. So you see how this one, it says MR04, and this one says nothing at all. That's because this is an MR03. Essentially what that is the version number or the generation of that Mini Z. So they have an MR01, MR02, MR03 and MR04, MR04 being the newest one. So you can't tell the difference from a body perspective, but the MR04 is newer and it is upgraded. It's a completely different chassis. You can kind of see right there. I say completely different, like they remade and redesigned everything. That's an MR04 and this is an MR03. MR03s are typically a little bit cheaper, 175 bucks versus 190. If you picked up an MR03, don't fret. They're still really, really good. But there's a small mod that you want to do. It's called a kingpin flip. We're not going to go over that right now, but there are videos out there. Just Google Mini Z kingpin flip on an MR03 and you'll see what it is. But essentially the MR04 already has that done. But if you're buying Mini Zs, it's important to keep in mind what version you have, because you don't want to buy a big lot or a whole bunch of used ones if they're really old and you don't have part support for them anymore. For the most part, it's pretty easy to get MR03 parts still. Obviously, MR04 is what they support right now. But if you can, if you're buying new, get an MR04 and you won't regret it. So you picked up your Mini Z, you're excited. Now you want to know what you need to get it running. The only thing you really need to get running are batteries. They run off of AAAs, and you can actually run off of just regular alkaline AAAs that you buy at your local grocery store. You're gonna want 8, 4 for your remote and 4 for your car. However, if you're racing, you're gonna want rechargeable AAA batteries. All we have in stock right now are the KYOSHO Speedhouse batteries, which these batteries are excellent. There are a whole bunch of different manufacturers who make batteries out there. The ones that I run are the Genzace AAA batteries. These have been freaking great. Genzace is a supporter of my race program, so I always run Genzace batteries in all my race rigs, but these batteries are actually slightly cheaper, and they're the top pick for most Mini Z drivers. I sold out of these really, really quick, and now they're on back order. I'll put a link in the description to these batteries below. So next up, you're gonna need a battery charger. We do carry these Genzace AAA battery chargers or AA and AAA battery chargers. A whole bunch of manufacturers make chargers like this, and these will work just fine to charge your batteries up. But what I recommend is going onto Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below. Hobby shops will also have this. Some of them will, but this is the ISDT Smart Charger for AA and AAA batteries, the N8 Smart Charger. This charger is awesome, not just for charging up batteries, but it can do something called activation. And what activation is, it essentially drains your batteries all the way down and then charges them all the way back up, and it does it several times. And all that's doing is cycling your batteries, and as a result, you can put more power into them and they have more punch. Now, if you get this charger, it's important that you get a charging block that can handle it. Find a USB 3.0 charging block. They look like this right here. You can't just, I mean, I guess you could just use any household charging block, but this charging block will make it where it charges a lot faster. And I'll show you the difference on what it looks like on the charger whenever you have a USB 3.0 charging block and a normal charging block. So here is my N8 charger. So when you plug it in, you'll see down here, can you see that? It says 5 volts at 18 watts. You definitely want 18 watts, but 5 volts is really low. This is a normal USB charger. Now when we plug it into a USB 3.0 charger, it will look like this. Boom. 12 volts at 18 watts. That's what you want. That's how you know you're getting full functionality of your N8 ISDT charger. This charger is awesome. You have different settings in here, and there's your different modes, your charge, discharge, activation, and analysis. I use activation on brand new batteries or batteries that aren't holding charge very well, like they're older. Just run that activation mode. It takes a while. It probably takes a couple of hours, and it will essentially cycle your battery several times. What I do when I get a brand new pack is I turn on activation mode and I let it cycle like twice, and then I just charge it up. And you actually want the batteries to be scorching hot when you take it off. That means they got a really good charge. But this charger is one I recommend. I'll put a link in the description below. So you got your batteries, you got your charger, and now you want some upgrades. I recommend you drive the car how it is out of the box first before you do any upgrades. Also note, whenever you pull the car out of the box, it is by default set to 50% mode. That means on your remote, it will be blinking and you have 50% throttle. To turn it on 100% mode, you turn the remote off, pull it full throttle, pull the trigger full throttle, turn it on. And once you see the light turn on, let off, and it will go into full throttle mode. If you want to go back into 50% mode, turn the remote off, full brake, turn the remote on, and it will be in 50% mode. Drive it how it is out of the box before you do upgrades. However, these are the upgrades I recommend. Just like any race rig, tires are key. And they're like 75% of your setup. The setup that I recommend are red radial rears and yellow slick fronts. That is for your wide MM, the one that I recommended. If you have an LM, you're gonna need LM specific tires. Get red rears and yellow fronts. However, what I have been told, I haven't personally tried it, is the radial rears, although they're not made for LMs, the radial rears actually work better than the red slick LM tires. Now, let's say you don't want to buy tires, you're on a budget, you just want it to handle just a little bit better because your car washes out around the corners really bad. Just get you some yellow radial rears, keep the stock fronts. The car will push a little bit, but it will definitely feel planted. That's your super budget option. But tires are super cheap. They're $10 for 4. So for 20 bucks, you can get a good setup. Red rears, red radial rears, and yellow slick fronts. Now they have all different types of options. One option I do like, and I will point it out, is they have low height front tires. If you like your car aggressive, run a lower height front tire. Basically, it shifts more weight to the front, so it steers quicker. I actually really like the super low height tires. However, if you do mount the super low height or low height tires, you're gonna need tire tape. And essentially what that does is tapes your tires onto your wheel. So going full circle, you need tires, red rears, yellow fronts. Now another thing a lot of people do is they upgrade their T-plates. What that will do is will make your suspension feel stiffer. On an on-road track, that's a good thing. Your car will feel more planted. They have all different types of options. This pack right here, these fiberglass packs, they come with 3 different T-plates, a hard, a medium, and a soft. They also have carbon fiber ones. Now this is where I'm a crappy sales guy because although the carbon fiber ones are more expensive, I recommend you get the fiberglass ones. And there are 2 different types of fiberglass T-plates. You can get a 0.6 or a 0.5, 0.6 a little bit thicker. I like the stiffest T-plate I possibly can get. That's my driving style. I feel like you can send it into the corners harder. So I get the 0.6 and I run the hard T-plate. And then the only other thing you need to go racing is you need a transponder, which in Area RC, we use the easy lap timing system. And the transponders are only 25 bucks. Now I recommend you get both of these pieces. Essentially what this is that is your transponder, and this is a cable to hook your transponder directly up to your batteries. Let me explain. So here is my Mini Z, there's my transponder. So this will actually plug directly into the board. However, sometimes when you plug directly into the board, you can miss laps. This wire, that extra wire that you buy, it hooks directly up to your battery leads. So essentially your transponder is getting full voltage out of your batteries. And ever since I've done this, I do not miss laps. I highly recommend you do it because missing laps at a race is extremely frustrating. So there you have it. You're ready to race Mini Zs. The only other thing I'll tell you is the tire part. A lot of people ask how to mount tires. They're really easy. You literally pull the tire off and you put it right back on. It's not rocket science. It's like the easiest tire to mount in all of RC. So don't be intimidated. But in general, if there's a Mini Z that you like, pick it up. If you think it looks cool, pick it up, go drive it. If you want to get deep into racing, go check out the classes that your local track is running. More than likely, they're going to have like a box stock class, which those upgrades that I told you about are legal in box stock in most cases. And they'll also have the LM class. But guys, I absolutely love Mini Zs. I think they just look so freaking cool. They're so much fun to drive. Even if you're a hardcore racer, pick one up and use it to refine your driving skills because it's super cheap to drive, super cheap to repair, super cheap to maintain. It's not outside, and you can pretty much build a track anywhere.